Jerry Nard. Jerry Nard.
All right, what's going on, my people? Welcome to the Sn95 Power channel. Gosh, I got a lot going on here, so let's dive into it. We had a problem with this little jinky thing right here. I had this in here, and the car just acted crazy. The car didn't want to idle. I couldn't even get the car to engage without clunking out. So what I did is I just put the stock, well, not the stock, but the old throttle body back on the car. I did that, and in the process, I have a bolt stripped on the intake manifold. So I've got some helicoils around here that I'm gonna drill and tap and fix this intake. And so by doing so, now I'm having the issue where the car will have a header glow at idle. That's never happened before. Now, all the time prior to this, the header glow would always happen with the car under some load. But swapping the intake, the throttle body back, is actually a new IAC, new throttle position sensor. And having one of these bolts stripped is causing this header to start glowing. So we're gonna fix all that today. I'm not gonna show you a video of me doing all that, but what we'll do is get this all put back together, and then we'll go out for a ride.
So maybe somebody out here can answer this for me. Does it matter how the fuel injectors are pointed in your car? I ask that because with this tubular GT40 intake, I gotta use a spacer because of these 80-pound injectors. They're taller. And I had the injectors almost pointed like at 45 degrees, as opposed to, you know, the injectors, the connector just pointed straight at you. Because if I didn't, there's a log, a rail under the manifold that's like a vacuum port, and the injector connector would sit on that and not allow the manifold to sit flush. So I still have cylinder number 7, kind of like that, but all the rest of them I just got it pointed the way the OEM was. I don't know if that made any difference, but I can tell you my coolant temperature right now is a lot lower. requesting and what the actual fueling is doing think the gauge is off. And this is high noon, it's 1 o'clock. It's almost 90 degrees out here. Normally this thing would be bouncing around, hitting the high set point, turning it off, cycling like that. I haven't seen it hit 196 yet. So we're gonna pull it back in the crib and see what happens. So I gotta say, it made a difference. Like, can't really see it. Like, normally this thing would be glowing red, and right now it's fine. I don't want to say fine, but like I say, there was like still like a little hint of. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah, you can see right there. There's a little hint of glowing right there, but it's nowhere near where it used to be. So honestly, I really don't know what to make of this. I think by moving the injectors around, like I said, you know, I've had them all like pointed this way or that way. Never really had them pointed straight outward. I had the number 7 and number 8 injector. It was to a point where they were sitting, the intake, the bottom of the intake was sitting on the injector. So maybe, but you know, I didn't have a vacuum leak, so I don't know, y'all. Like, I'm just experimenting and trying to figure out some stuff. Whatever I did today, and let's just recap of what I did today, is I reseated the injectors, I resealed the intake, I had a bolt that was stripped, fixed that, and that's it. And it made a huge difference on how this car is running. So what I have to do now, I think, is I have to get this intake a little bit higher so I can get that number 7 fuel injector pointed to straight outboard. My tune is off. Like I say, I'm baffled. Like, it's not a lot of times where this car can baffle me, but right now I'm baffled. I don't think I have a vacuum leak. I'm gonna get the smoke tester out. I'm gonna puff pass, just make sure all that is good. If the intake is nice and tight, and the only thing left is just the injector facing the correct way, those are some little things that I can take care of. The tune aspect of this, I'll have to talk to my tuner and figure out why it's commanding. Like, it's commanding to be very rich, even at part throttle. It's kind of all over the place. I gotta look at the data. Just a couple of times where I looked up at it, it was kind of all over the place. But despite all that, this is a huge win. Like, after taking so many L's, I think this is a huge win. Like, the temperature of the car, like, no cap, like, man, the temperature is the lowest I've ever seen it over the past 2 years. Like I said, I still got the AC stuff hooked up to it. It's almost 90 degrees outside, and cruising around, this car really never touched 190, and it just never behaved like that. So whatever happened, I'm starting to remove all that heat out of this car. Could it be, you know, the spray pattern with the, you know, like, actually this whole bank was kind of cocked in a way. Could that be the problem? I don't know. I hope it is just that easy, and if it is, I'll be kicking myself. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get I think this is a 3/8 intake spacer. Hell, I might even go to a whole 1-inch intake spacer, put that on there, make sure the injectors are all facing outboard, and man, hopefully that'll be it. I know it's kind of late in the season for this victory, but I'll take it. At least going into next year, this won't be something that'll plague us like it's been plaguing us for the past couple of years. So hey, I gotta say, today is a good day. Like, you know, we've been kicked and beaten and bruised around here so much. It's just finally nice to get some good news. You see, like, man, this is just baffling to me, because we went from the past couple of days. I took the little janky throttle body off, and I had stripped that bolt, and it was actually getting to a point where this car the header was starting to run hot at idle. I had never did that before, but I only had the car with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, that's broke. So 4 intake manifold bolts secured down, and the car is running hot at idle. So I never did that before, up until I didn't have that bolt on there, and I noticed when I put the intake back on, it was kind of seesawing. So it just made me think, like, well, maybe the way I have these injectors pointed is causing an issue. And so far, it just seems like that was the case. So, man, I could ramble on about this because it feels good to get a victory. But we're going to end this video right here. I know this is kind of a short little video, but hey, tell me what y'all think. If you know if the orientation of these injectors is important. And I think it is, because if you look at the spray pattern of a fuel injector, I would guess the engineers would have them facing that way for a reason. Like, I don't know the effect of, you know, changing that angle, but hopefully that was the case for me, that was causing a lean condition, or whatever you want to call it. The header was glowing, but right now it's not. Well, it's glowing slightly, so we got some direction to go. Super amped up about it. So hey, if you want to see if this is the cure to this problem, make sure you hit that subscription button, hit that bell button, because I'm going to get that intake spacer probably tomorrow, and I might drop another video before next week's schedule. So tell a couple of people about the channel. I appreciate your time, and God bless.